The Clippers are having a really good offseason. They went out and signed Brook Lopez to play as a backup with Zubats. You went and traded for John Collins. Now your front court looks that much stronger, and you can play different lineups outside that small ball look you were showing. And it really reared its ugly head against the Nuggets because when games were tight, Denver was able to cross the glass and get a lot of second chance opportunities in that series against the Clippers. So you've got more front court depth. And then you went out and signed Bradley Beal. This is a low risk, high reward situation. The reason why I say that is because he's got a player option and it's a cheap contract, $11 million. And the Suns are going to pay the difference of that contract. And if things don't work out with the Clippers this season for Bradley Beal, then he can opt out in the offseason next year. So it's not really a huge risk for the Clippers, not paying a lot for him. And if it does work, awesome. Now you have another option out there who can score the basketball. I think the two biggest things for the Clippers going to next season is, of course, health. We know that Kawhi Leonard manages that knee injury, and we should expect that going to next season. James Harden's had some injuries in the past, and will he stay healthy throughout the regular season? And of course, Bradley Beal, he has to stay healthy. He's had injury problems for the past 3 or 4 seasons. So health is going to be a major factor for the Clippers. And can they get enough reps together? Because if you're not healthy and you've got other teams in the West that are healthier, they've been sharper together because they've been building that chemistry on the basketball court, that's going to play a huge swing factor in my personal opinion. And then, of course, the playoff matchups, you can't dismiss those things. If they get the right matchup, they can make a deep playoff run. But again, it's going to come down to the health and just the chemistry they can build. And can they get enough games in together? I don't know about that part. I do like the roster, though. It's really solid. You've got more versatility. You've got more big man depth. And I know that Bradley Beal doesn't play a lot of defense. So if he's struggling out there on the perimeter, maybe you bring in Chris Dunn, give them a different look, or throw Derrick Jones Jr. and have Bradley Beal play a weaker offensive player. That's what I would do if he's struggling. And then Kawhi Leonard, that's another question mark because last year in the playoffs, he had really good moments where in game 2, he had 39 points, 5 assists, 3 rebounds. He shot 78.9% from the field, 57% from 3. But then in game 3, he had 21 points. Now, this was more of a blowout. They did win that game. But game 4, where they probably need a little bit more from Kawhi Leonard, he had 24 points, 45% from the field, 40% from 3. I know Aaron Gordon had that crazy tip and dunk, but they could have used more from Kawhi that game. You go to game 5, he only had 20 points, 11 assists, 9 rebounds. And then you go to game 6, 27 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, 50% from the field, shot 25% from 3. And then game 7, 22 points in a blowout loss to Nuggets. They needed playoff Kawhi to be above 30 points for a couple of those games, especially when you're going up against Nikola Jokic. So that's where I think the Clippers are going to need more out of him. And if Bradley Beal can be a reliable third or fourth option, now you have another weapon out there on offense. Last year for Bradley Beal, I'm going to bring up the stats for his shooting because some people think he's a scrub, that he's no good. Well, Bradley Beal last year was still giving you 17 points a game. That's solid. I know he only played 53 games, but he shot 49% from the field, 38% from 3. That's still solid. He still shoots 37.6 from 3 for his career and 46% from the field. So Bradley Beal is a good weapon on offense. He's a bucket getter. And if he can play off James Harden, where he can knock down his catch and shoot threes and fit within that system, the Clippers are looking at something really special here. Now, of course, there's a lot of what ifs here. The health of the Clippers. Can they be healthy? We know the defense will be good. They had the second defensive rating with the roster last year, and Kawhi Leonard didn't play all the entire series, the entire season. So I think the defense would be fine. I think they'd be solid, but can they reach their highest potential with guys being in and out of the lineup? They're important guys because if you go up against a team like OKC, who is playing the majority of their stars throughout the season, they're sharp. They got the rotations down. Can the Clippers, with the lack of chemistry and lack of games played together, beat a team like that? I don't think so, in my personal opinion. If I'm proven wrong, cool. But reps do matter in live games. And if you don't have enough chemistry built together throughout the regular season, it makes it that hard in the playoffs. But I do like this acquisition from the Clippers because you're trying to compete in the Western Conference. It's going to be a bloodbath out there. This is one of my intriguing teams. I don't think they're still in the same category as the Nuggets, the Rockets, the Thunder, and the Timberwolves as of today. But that can be changed based on how they play in the regular season. If Kawhi Leonard comes out and plays 65 plus games and Bradley Beal's at 60, we might have a different conversation. I don't know, though. That is TBD. But I just like the fact the Clippers had a great offseason. They're trying to stay relevant, competitive. And I know Brook Lopez is older in age, but he's not going to have to play the same role because you have Zubats back back there anchoring the defense. And you got John Collins. So they've got a nice nucleus of players here with a lot of depth on this roster. They got versatility at the wing position and the guard position. James Harden's still a solid playmaker, can still distribute, run that offense. And you've got Ty Lue as your coach. He's always been able to maximize the roster. The Clippers are really good down the stretch. They just ran into the Nuggets, and I thought they would have won that series, but we didn't get enough out of Kawhi Leonard, and that just happens sometimes. But it's going to be fun to watch the Clippers. I do like the acquisition because you're not really losing a lot here. If Bradley Beal doesn't want to stay, he can move on. And if you think about it, this is a big season for Bradley Beal, more like a prove it season, because if he leaves the Clippers and it doesn't work out, what kind of market is going to be available for him? Because teams are going to look at him and go, you don't play a lot of games. And if you're expecting a specific contract or going to a contender, why should I bring you on board? Because you're playing on a good roster again. It just didn't work out with Phoenix. And if you run into problems playing with guys like James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, then teams might be reluctant to sign him. I'm not saying they won't, but this is a big year for Bradley Beal, in my opinion. And I'm curious to see how he handles the situation, especially, let's just say the starting lineup isn't gelling well together. And Ty Lue asked Bradley Beal, hey, why don't you come off the bench? Will he accept that role? I know he's been adamant about starting, but maybe changing a role and doing what's best for the team helps Bradley Beal's image. Fair or unfair, that might not be a bad idea if it's not working with the starting lineup. But we shall see. I'd love to hear your thoughts about Bradley Beal signing with the Clippers. And what are your thoughts about the Clippers coming to this next season? Do you think they should be in the tier 1 contenders list with the Timberwolves, the Rockets, the Nuggets, and the Thunder? Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.